All right, welcome to Agent Prep with Lillie Hendy. Remember to tap that subscribe button and click the little bell so you get notified every time I post a new video, and go ahead and like this video. So we're starting with question 60 on page 39. Okay, so for those of you who are new to the group, this is the source that we're using, the Texas real estate sales exam. That's the source that we're using. And the table of contents, okay, it has 4 exams. Exam 1, 2, 3, and 4 of 110 questions. Those 110 questions, 80 are national and 30 are state. And see, this is for the Texas real estate exam, but it includes both national and state. It also has a refresher course, math review, and this is where I am getting the vocabulary. Okay, in section 6, starting at page 153. So right now we're still on exam 1 for national questions, and for state we're already on exam 2. Why? Because there's only 30 questions. All right, so let's go to our national tab. Let me move my tabs around here. Answers. Change the order of my and okay, so question, what did I say? Question number 60. Wait a minute, are we on the national tab here? Question 60, that's where we're starting today. And let me get the answers where we should be. You see, it has nice answers for the questions. Okay, so any questions before we enter into the national question? So as I am doing, hi Vernica, I haven't been able to see you guys and say welcome to the class because I was thrown off by Facebook not letting me get online. I can get on my phone, but it won't let me get on the Facebook group online. I'm sorry, on my computer, okay? So I'm having to do it on my phone, and that's, oops. All right, so far, let's see, we've got Vernica, Marian, Leonina, Lisbeth, and I can only tell who's in by those who end up commenting. Deed of trust. Okay, let's see. Is that like parents giving a home to their children? Yes, so a devicee. Yes, that's what you do there. So I wasn't able to see all your comments, guys, because my phone is on an angle, and I just started my other phone right now. So the deed of trust, Miriam, I'm not sure. A deed of trust is like a mortgage. It's just the deed of trust allows Texas to have an easier foreclosure. So you have a non-judicial foreclosure when we use a deed of trust. In the eastern states, they use mortgage, and they have to go to a judge in order to give the order to follow through with a foreclosure. So having a deed of trust is much easier to do a foreclosure in a non-judicial state. So that's what we're in. Here in Texas, it's a 21 days of being late, and then the lender can start the foreclosure process by sending out notices. Okay, why is my mouse doing weird stuff? Oh, because my phone is leaning against the computer. All right, so let's move the other phone over here. Okay, all right, question number 60 on the national exam. Let's see, can you see it? Yes. Let's see here. Okay, you can see it there. What is the difference between a competitive market analysis and a comparative market analysis? Okay, so remember competitive and comparative. So think of the word competitive. So when it's competitive, you're competing against someone else. In this case, it's one property competing with another property. So the seller's property is competing with other properties. So a competitive analysis, oh, well, if I do that, I'm going to give you the answer. So it's called the CMA acronym. It's a little bit different. And some will say, no, there is no different. Well, one is competitive, one is comparative. So what is the difference? A, sold comparables used. Oh, so I was going to say, when you answer, please write the question number and the letter so that I know which question you're referring to. Okay, so A, sold comparables used. B, amenity differences between the comparables. C, adjustments for time of sale, such as location and property condition. D, properties currently for sale in the same market area. So what's the difference between competitive and comparative? Okay, let's see. Vernica said 60D. So the difference is the comparable is sold, comparative is sold properties only. The competitive has actives on it. So that's why D is the answer. Properties currently for sale in the same market area. Okay, so 60. A competitive analysis includes both sold comparables and the asking price of current properties on the market. And we also say pending because it'll show the pendings on the market to determine a range of value for marketing purposes. This is used to determine the best listing price for a property. That's the competitive market analysis. We want to let the owners know what their competition is, how long a pending property is taking, and then the sold, this is used to determine the best listing price for a property. A comparative market analysis evaluates only sold comparables in property evaluations. So that's what we would do for a buyer. Is we want the buyer to know what similar properties just recently sold for, so that we can recommend a price for them to offer and that they can decide. So 60 is D. Thanks, Nicole. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate your participating. All right, number 61. So keep in mind, these are national questions. 61. Oops, let's go to the question, not the answer. A signed sales contract generally can be canceled between the parties if A, fraud can be proved, B, one party changes his mind, C, other offers are received, D, the seller is out of town on the closing date. So when can a contract be canceled? So 61. I'll give you a chance. And for those of you that this is your first time, this source is on the group, okay, that it's under files and it's on the announcement post, the Texas Real Estate, okay, Texas Real Estate Sales Exam. Okay, that's a source. It's 4th edition. It's online, it's downloadable, it's already in the group. Okay, so 61. A defrauded party generally has the right to terminate the contract. So the person that was defrauded, okay, is the one that can cancel the contract. This makes it a voidable contract. It can be voided, right? Good job, Jeffrey. All right, number 62. Okay, hopefully It won't trigger me to the next page. Okay, we can see it there, right? Oh my gosh, on my other phone. Well, that's weird. How come? Is there a delay? That's weird. On one phone, I see. Okay. Under which federal law is blockbusting illegal? Okay, there's a delay on the Facebook. Under which federal law is blockbusting illegal? So you're busting the block, right? So that you want to get more listings. A, Sherman Antitrust Act. B, Fair Housing Act. C, Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Or D, Community Reinvestment Act. So where is blockbusting illegal? Hi, Carmen. Okay, 62, Carmen says B, Fair Housing Act. Any other takers? Wow, it's kind of light on the phone. I can see that. Let's see if I get closer. I know you can still see it, but it's rather light. Okay, so let's go to the answers. A federal housing law prohibits blockbusting, a method used to induce homeowners to sell their properties by representing that minorities may be moving into the area and lowering the property values. So that is the answer, which you'll see in a moment, because it is a delay. So 62B, that is correct. Veronica, Curtis, and Jeffrey. Oh, wait a minute, Jeffrey. Nope. So Jeffrey, Veronica, and Jeffrey set A. Okay. However, the answer is B. 62B. Okay, let's see. You guys picked A. See, A says Sherman Antitrust. Okay, so that's where definitions come in handy, right? So you look it up real quick. Sherman Antitrust definition. First legislation enacted of the United States Congress to curb concentrations of power that interfere with trade and reduce. So let me see. Let's see. Where's a quick definition? Well, you guys can't see it. So this is was allowing for being able to continue trade and reduce economic competition. Okay, it was to protect that so that there would be no monopoly. And it was named by Senator John Sherman of Ohio, who was an expert on the regulation of commerce. So they didn't want anybody to have power to interfere with trade and competition. Okay, so no monopolies allowed. So that's how quick you can get your answers, okay, on Google. Or you check the answer on here. Okay, and so the fair housing law is the one that limits blockbusting, because that is illegal. All right, 63. Okay, so you've got to pull. So you've got it, Curtis. And Jeffrey, did you get that? And Veronica and Carmen? So why did you all pick Sherman Antitrust? Because you weren't sure? So you took a guess, right? So on that case, okay, so which federal law is blockbusting? So wait a minute. So what did Sherman Antitrust say? So Sherman was first legislation enacted by Congress. So yes, it's also federal, okay? But it's it's against anyone being able to trust, okay, what is happening, what is being done. So I'm trying to see how else you can, you know, they're all federal laws, but it's blockbusting, it's protecting people of the fair housing. Okay, we cannot steer, we cannot put fear in people. So we have to treat everyone fairly, okay, and honestly. And so the fair housing law is what protects from those things happening, from realtors doing that. We have to practice real estate fairly. Okay, 63. So I need to lift the phone so that y'all can, so that you can see that. If Bob and Sally own a property together and the deed of the property gives no indication as to what tenancy exists, they would own the property as. So Bob and Sally, it doesn't say they're married. It just says Bob and Sally own a property together, and the deed to the property gives no indication as to what tenancy exists. So there is a default tenancy that will be given by the title company if one doesn't exist. However, they know the circumstances by the individuals. So they would own the property as A, tenants in common, B, stockholders in a corporation, C, joint tenants, or D, general partners. Well, earlier I mentioned the 4 different types of tenancy. Of ownership. Okay, and they're not owning stocks, so it wouldn't be stockholders in a corporation. They own real estate. And they're not general partners. General partners is a very broad term type of partners. So it leaves it down to A and C. So I'm going to give you a moment, okay, to determine what that answer is. And see, I got somebody already saying, let's see, Nicole and Carmen. Nicole says 63C. Carmen says 63A. Okay, what does everybody else? So when you participate, I'm able to help you if you answer a question incorrectly. So please don't be afraid to answer. This is your time for me to be able to help you. Okay, so, okay, Vernica says A. So let's go and look at the answers. 63A. If the deed is silent as to the form of ownership, the law assumes that the parties are tenants in common. Okay? So what that means is they have something in common. They own land together. Tenants also refers to owners, buyers. So they're buyers in common. They're owners in common. They have the same real estate piece of property together. And if it doesn't indicate any other type, it's going to end up falling in default tenants in common. So tenants in common, the definition is 2 or more that own a piece of property. It has to be 2 or more. If it's 1, it is severalty. Okay, somebody answered C. So Annabelle, let's see who else. Nicole, you guys answered C. Yeah, it was between A and C. Joint tenants must meet 4 conditions. So guys, this is where you knowing the definitions, okay, is knowing the 4 different types of ownerships is very crucial. Joint tenants must meet 4 conditions. T-tip, T-T-I-P. If you took it with Champion, you probably heard T-tip, T-T-I-P. It's the joint tenants, 2 or more. So tenants in common and joint tenants are 2 or more individuals. And that is the joint tenants, they took title at the same time. So they took title, and at the same time, that's TTI, they have the equal interest, and P stands for possession. They have full possession, 100% possession of that property. But they have equal ownership. If it was 3, they have 33 1/3. If it was 4, they have 25%, each of them. That's joint tenant. So joint tenant has to meet 4 conditions. This question only met one condition, that Bob and Sally own a property together. That's only one condition. Therefore, it is tenants in common. They have what in common? Property. Real property. Let's see, and no, it was between the 2. Okay, I don't understand, Nicole. So it was between A and C. Stockholders, General partner, Okay, so let's see, nobody used B or D. So that's good. And most of you chose C, joint tenants. So do you understand now that joint tenants has to meet 4 conditions? Okay. All right, number 64. Oh, I haven't forgot to write the answer down. 62B and then 63A. 62 was B, right? Yes. Okay. 64. You can see 64 there? Yes. Okay. What is the purpose of the Truth in Lending Act? Tila. Know that acronym, Tila, because there's TRELA, Texas Real Estate Lending Act, and this is Tila, Truth in Lending Act. So Truth in Lending Act does what? A, the Tila enforces Regulation Z. B, so you need to know what Regulation Z is. B, the Tila ensures disclosure of clear and full information regarding the true cost of credit. C, the Tila regulates the APR. What is APR? So I want you guys to write down, what is APR? We covered it a little bit ago in one of the other questions. And D, the Tila ensures that lenders receive full disclosure of credit and income information from borrowers. So who do the acts protect? All these acts protect consumers. So is Tila ensuring lenders receive full disclosure? That's not protecting the consumer, right? So which one would you think is protecting the consumer? Okay, let's see who's answering. Annual percentage rate. Very good, Curtis. Thank you for answering that. Annual percentage rate is APR. Okay, so 64. So if we go over here to Regulation Z, what is Regulation Z? So again, prohibits mortgage lenders from engaging in unfair practices that result in a conflict of interest in the mortgage broker. For example, prohibits lenders from paying brokers or other loan originators based on the mortgage. So in other words, they can't do any kickbacks. Okay, that's what Regulation Z is. But here it says, what's the purpose of Truth in Lending Act? So who is it protecting? All right, let's see. Sharon, Curtis. Okay, I have two A's and 4 B's. Okay, so Tila. Tila is a consumer protection law stating that borrowers must be given full, complete, and clear information regarding the true cost of credit. Okay, so consumers are being protected. Truth in Lending Act. So who's doing the lending? The lender, right? They have to be truthful, so they need to disclose. So when somebody is being truthful, they are disclosing, right? Ensures disclosure of clear and full information regarding true cost of credit. So think of what the question is acting. These acts are there to protect consumers, not the lenders. Okay, and see, somebody answered. Okay, 2 people answered A. Okay, 1 person answered A. Enforces Regulation Z. No, we know that their Regulation Z was to protect to prevent lenders from paying kickbacks to other people who send them referrals. Okay, so that is illegal. All right, so 64 was B. Very good. This is awesome. Most of you are participating, and this is for your good. So 64 is B. All right, number 65. For there to be a valid right to purchase or terminate, an option contract must contain what? So for there to be a valid right to purchase or terminate, an option contract must contain what? So an option contract is during the option period, the beginning of the contract, when the buyer has the opportunity to investigate things and do their due diligence about that property, right? Do inspections, test the water, check the roof, check the plumbing, check for termites. During I'm saying 10 days because typically I will ask for 10 days with my buyer. We agree to 10 days, sometimes less. And we always recommend doing an inspection. So we always recommend doing, I shouldn't say always, nothing is absolute. We recommend doing an option period, okay? So, but there is a valid right to purchase or terminate. An option contract must contain what? A, notice to terminate. B, at least 7 days to back out of the contract. C, dollar consideration. Or D, a right of rescission. Thanks for joining, Brittany. So I didn't welcome all of you. Several of you are new today, and I'm glad you were able to get on. Okay, so number 65. The lack of a dollar consideration may invalidate an option. So in a contract, when they're putting a earnest money, that can be just a consideration. It doesn't have to be money. However, the option fee must be money. See, the lack of dollar consideration may invalidate an option period if the owner wants to make sure they get that option fee. So it's still negotiable between the owners and the buyer. The court wants something at risk for the right to purchase or to terminate at a later date. So during the option period, their earnest money is not at risk. So in order for it to be a valid right to purchase or terminate, the option contract must contain C, a dollar consideration. Okay, let's see. Vernica said B. No, there's nothing that says at least 7 days. It can be any amount that the buyer and the seller agree to. It can be 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. However, they're paying a dollar amount for each day. To my buyers, I recommend they offer $10 per day, so 10 days. That gives plenty of time to do the inspections, get the reports back, and then doing any negotiations that has to happen for repairs during those 10 days, and make sure that the seller is notified and the buyer receives the acknowledgement before 5 o'clock the day that the option period expires. So the number of days is negotiable, Vernica. So 65 is C. Let's see. Leonina says, hi everyone, I'm new to the group, wondering if there are any other study tips, resources that you have found helpful. Yeah, you guys can interact also within the group, except I have to approve posts, or within the messenger group where I add you. If I haven't added you to a messenger group, let me know so that I can add you. I typically try to, my attempt is to add you when I'm approving your request to join. So, Leonina, there's this source online. There's also other sources like CompuCram. There's Prep Agents online. He has a lot of YouTube videos that you can listen to. Prep Agent, to Joe. And he is an awesome source. You can predominantly hear him for national, okay? So let me show you. While I look for him. Oh, and by the way, in exchange for me helping you guys, I ask that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, that you go visit it, and that you want to learn, okay, part of social media. And this is one way that I do it. It's by creating videos about San Antonio, Texas, and posting on YouTube. So anyway, so this is my channel, Living in San Antonio, Texas, and there are several realtors that have one, but only 3 of us have it named Living in San Antonio, Texas. So anyway, so I ask you for a great favor in exchange to me helping you here, okay, to please go to my YouTube channel, listen to a video, and subscribe. I'm young to it, and I'm working on growing it. Right now I have 7 videos. Okay, so YouTube Prep Agents on YouTube. Oh, so he has that. You can buy it, but I meant to search for it here. See, I'm a blogger. So I blog and I videotape, okay? Make videos about you couldn't see it. Right here. Prep Agents. Okay. So this is Joe. Right there. And Prep Agent, I learned about him through some of my other students, okay? And he has tons and tons of videos, okay, to help you with studying for national or vocabulary. And so I normally would use his vocabulary. So let me see here. And there's one that I love in particular. So you can pay for his courses on his website. Okay, so he's got vocabulary, and he does a lot of national questions. So where is it? So in his search here, search for vocabulary. Okay. So he actually has now joined a school. Okay, there's a particular vocabulary, 52 minutes. This one right here. I love this vocabulary video that he has with the vocabulary. He stresses vocabulary just as much or more than I do. Let's see, so Leona, haha, I thought the music was intentional. Sometimes music helps me work, study. Oh, wow, well, cool. No, it wasn't intentional. However, that's how I work at home. I have music in the background, and then I forget. And when I go somewhere, I also leave it on for my cats.
Hi, this is Joe, Prep Agent. I'm here with my friend Daniel. How's it going, Daniel?
Okay, so this one is an excellent one. It's 52 minutes, 55 seconds for you to practice vocabulary. So if the music in the background helps, I can keep it. I can keep it on low. All right, so prepagent.com. And you can do many of his, if you're having problems with contracts, math, okay, then he has, you see, here's others, vocabulary, questions, and more. And you can buy his course on his website for $80 if you, I believe he provides you with a discount if you like his Facebook page. So I should do something similar. I should say, okay, if you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'll give you a discount, right? But I don't charge. Okay, so continuing on. So again, I'm just going to post my channel. I'd like you to please visit my YouTube channel, Living in San Antonio, Texas, and subscribing to it. Okay, somebody already subscribed, so thank you for that. And if you want to have a mentor and join a real estate company with somebody that's being progressive and finding alternative ways to attract clients during this COVID time, this is what I learned. All right, enough of that, going back. So we're going to end there with national. We're going to move on to state, okay? Because it's already 7:28. And normally I like to do like 40 minutes of each and, you know, take a little break or say something in between. All right, so here we ended with, okay, which question did we end with? 65. So we will start with question 66 on Saturday. So I need to write it down so I know exactly where to start. Question 66 on page number 40. And so this is still exam number 1. Okay, so when I scroll up, you're going to see on top exam number 1. Okay, it's 80 questions. All right. All right, welcome to Agent Prep with Lillie Hendy. Remember to tap that subscribe button and click the little bell so you get notified every time I post a new video, and go ahead and like this video.